bulbs. They're larger comparatively than human olfactory bulbs because they rely heavily on the sense of smell. And so there's very large olfactory bulbs. This one's got a missing one right here, but this is all olfactory bulb right there. There's a couple more on here. See, these are olfactory bulbs right there. And so the nerves running right down there to the brain. You can see some on a sagittal too, I think. There's one. That's an olfactory bulb. That's an optic nerve right there. Third ventricle. Okay, we kind of already alluded to that one. So the thalamus kind of rests, the diencephalon really, the whole thing, kind of rests inside the third ventricle. So when you're looking here, that spot where the septum pellucidum one, that's the lateral ventricle. And then down here, you can kind of see that space, and this is all third ventricle, right here.
That's underneath the fornix, right?
Yes. So the fornix, which is the floor of the lateral ventricle, kind of forms the roof of the third ventricle. So, what else?
Optic chiasm.
So we already kind of pointed the optic chiasm out, right? That's that intersection between the optic nerves.
Mammillary body.
Mammillary bodies can be a little tricky. There's one right there. There's a group of them right there. That's the mammillary body right there. This dark part is the pituitary, just below the optic chiasm. So remember, you had a hypothalamus down underneath of this optic chiasm. Just caudal to that is where you find the pituitary gland, and it usually kind of hangs off. Try to find a better one. There's another one right there. See that dark spot? That's actually a gland. That's the pituitary gland right there. There's some more mammillary bodies right there, kind of chewed up. But, yeah.
Pons.
Pons. Okay, so we kind of said the pons already, right? That's this part right here, and then medulla's down here.
Cerebral aqueduct.
Cerebral. You have to get a good sagittal cut. You won't see it in the whole brain. To see a cerebral aqueduct, you got to get a good sagittal cut, and you'll see a line running just along the back. There's a part of one right there. See that kind of opening right there? It's like a little canal from where the third ventricle was down to the fourth ventricle here. That's cerebral. This one's got a better one. See, this is all cerebral aqueduct right here. So here was our third ventricle, and then there's a line that kind of a canal that runs down through here to the fourth ventricle, which is behind and you can always find that. Just look for the cerebellum, the vermis right there. So fourth ventricle.
That's fourth ventricle.
Yeah. Okay. So we got that. We got the fourth ventricle. All right. Let me show you two views of the pineal gland. I'll show you a sagittal view if I can find one. Here's a good one. So here was our thalamus. Remember, the pineal gland is in that region called the epithalamus. And so it's actually this piece right here. It's a gland that kind of hangs off the back of the thalamus. Here's another view of one. So here's what you would call a superior view of the brain, where we've cut the top of the brain off. And this is the pineal gland right here. This is thalamus, and this is pineal gland. So we've cut away like corpus callosum and all that stuff and revealed the thalamus. I mean the epithalamus, or the pineal gland. You can see another one kind of hanging right there. That's a pineal gland as well. Cerebral peduncles? Okay. So now we're getting into a region called the midbrain. And let me show you the corpora quadrigemina before I show you the cerebral peduncles. So remember, our pineal gland was there. If you see, so what did Gemini mean? Remember well, not twins, but there are Gemini twins, but what did head? Yeah, exactly. So how many? So this is going to be 4 heads, right? Corpora quadrigemina. 4 quad mean 4. So if you look right there, there, and there, you're looking at the corpora quadrigemina in this region here. I'll show you another one. There's a half of a corpora quadrigemina with one there and one there, and it'd be the same thing on the other side. We can pull one of these out too. See, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Corpora quadrigemina.
Okay.
Sure. So let me do it from this side. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of those heads. That's corpora quadrigemina. Don't worry about the top 2 are called the superior colliculus, and the bottom 2 are called the inferior colliculus. But you don't have to know that. Just know corpora quadrigemina. And so cerebral peduncles are just anterior to that corpora quadrigemina. So if you look in the midbrain at the corpora quadrigemina, the cerebral peduncle is this region right here. So here was our corpora quadrigemina on the posterior side, and here's our corpora quadrigemina on the anterior side. Remember, pituitary and mammillary bodies, and now we're in the midbrain and the cerebral peduncles there. Okay? Arbor vitae, I think everybody knows where that is, and they're actually quite, pronounced in the brain as well. They're, it's not an artifact of the models that they look very white. It's very, very robust-looking tree of branches here inside the cerebellum. So all those are the arbor vitae. Yeah, okay, so we already did that. So that's it for the sheep brain.